So you're living and working in Qatar, and now you're thinking, how do I get my family over here with me? It can seem like a really complicated process, I know, but it doesn't have to be. We're going to break down the entire Qatar family visa process, piece by piece, so it all makes sense.
Yeah, planning to bring your family to Qatar can feel like you're staring at a huge mountain of paperwork and confusing rules. But honestly, don't sweat it. We're going to give you a really clear, simple roadmap to get you from A to Z.
Okay, so the very first thing you need to figure out is which path is the right one for your family. Are you thinking of just a short visit, or is this a long-term move? Because that choice right there, it's going to shape everything that follows.
Yeah, two main options are pretty different. You've got the family visit visa, which is perfect for short trips. It's faster and the salary requirement is lower, just 5,000 riyals a month. But if you want your family to live here with you, you're gonna need the family residence visa. That's the one that gets them a Qatari ID card, but it also has a higher salary requirement. And for this guide, we're gonna focus on that big one, the residence visa.
Okay, let's get right into the most important part, because this is the foundation of your entire application. Before you even start gathering documents, you have to be 100% sure you actually meet the core requirements. So there are 4 things that are absolutely non-negotiable. First, you need a valid Qatar ID. Second, and this one's a big deal, your job title matters just as much as your paycheck. Third is, of course, your monthly salary. And finally, you need to prove you have a proper place for your family to live.
Let's talk numbers. So, what's the magic number you need to be earning? The standard minimum monthly salary to sponsor your family for a residence visa is 10,000 Qatari riyals. That's the official benchmark for most people working in the private sector.
But there's a really important exception here. If your work contract clearly states that your company provides family housing, that salary requirement can drop a lot. We're talking down to around 6,000 or 7,000 riyals. For a lot of people, this is a total game changer.
Now, this is a point I really can't stress enough. The profession that's written on your Qatari ID has to be a technical or specialized one. You know, things like engineer, accountant, or supervisor. If your profession is listed in the labor category, you generally won't be eligible to sponsor your family.
All right, let's move on to the next big stage. And honestly, this can be the most time-consuming part, getting all your paperwork in order. Getting this part right is absolutely crucial for a smooth process.
Okay, so for important documents like your marriage and birth certificates to be recognized in Qatar, they have to go on what I call a 3-stamp journey. First, they have to be certified by the foreign ministry back in your home country. Then they need a stamp from the Qatar embassy over there. And the final stamp happens right here in Qatar from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Let's make this simple. Here's a quick checklist of what you'll need. For you, the sponsor, that's copies of your passport and QID, an official salary certificate and your employment contract, a 6-month bank statement, and your rental agreement. For your family, you'll need copies of their passports with at least 6 months left on them, passport photos with a blue background, and of course, those super important fully attested marriage and birth certificates. So once you've got all your documents scanned and ready to go, it's time to actually apply. And the great news is, this whole process has gone digital. You do it all through Qatar's official mobile app, Matrash 2. The app is actually pretty easy to use. You just log in, go to the visa section, and pick Family Residence Application. Now, here is the single most important tip I can give you. Enter your family members' names exactly as they are spelled on their passports. Seriously, any little difference can cause a rejection. Then you just upload your scanned documents, give it all one final look, and hit Submit.
Getting that visa approval email is a huge moment, but you're not quite at the finish line yet. Once your family actually arrives in Qatar, there are a few final, mandatory steps to complete their residency.
Think of this part as the home stretch. After your family lands in Qatar, they'll need to do a medical test, and then go give their fingerprints for the biometric records. Once those 2 things are done, you can finally apply for their official Qatar ID card, which is basically their residence permit.
So you can plan your budget. Here's a quick look at the main government fees. The visa application itself is about 200 riyals. The medical test is around 100. The Qatar ID card will set you back 500 riyals per person per year. And don't forget, each document you get attested here in Qatar costs another 100 riyals.
So the key to success is really knowing what can go wrong so you can make sure it goes right. Let's quickly cover the most common reasons an application gets turned down.
It almost always comes down to one of these 3 things. Either the salary isn't high enough,
the profession on the QID isn't on the approved list, or the documents, especially those marriage and birth certificates, didn't get all 3 of those attestation stamps we talked about. If you can get these 3 things right, you are in a really good position.
At the end of the day, getting this visa isn't about luck. It's about being prepared and paying attention to the details. If you follow these steps, double-check that you're eligible, and get your documents in perfect order, you can absolutely navigate this system and bring your family to their new home in Qatar.